All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first episode of Spitfire, a brand new podcast. We talk all things Call of Duty each week. It should be me and Tunn usually on. We'll get as many pros in as possible, as well as some other members of the community that I quite fancy talking to but weren't here tonight. Of course, joining us first of all, a very good and long-time friend of mine. You may see him there in his rather fetching hat. It is, of course, Reedy. Reedy, how are you?
No, I'm good, man. Like yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. There is so much to talk about. I'm sure you're slightly busy because we've had a few issues with pros being busy tonight now.
All of them.
Yeah, I'm sure you're busy as well, but thank you for coming on.
My stock's literally dead and buried, man. Like, there ain't busy at all. More chances of MarkyB.
I don't believe that.
You know?
I don't believe that. Yeah, you didn't have a good year last year, but you still did all right. I still think you're definitely up there.
Come on, man.
What? I truly believe that. I think you got to remember how bad the Epsilon team was before you joined.
You just replaced Nathan, mate.
Yeah, I mean he's back now. He's the fifth.
Yeah.
Nathan.
Wow, could you imagine? He just pops up on Twitter again after a hiatus, man.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm back, guys. All right, let's get straight into this one then. Let's get straight into it. The biggest change here now for some of these points we're going to talk about. I'm going to be devil's advocate, and I'm going to play the opposite side occasionally to keep it as a balanced argument. But let's talk about 5v5, right? 10 years of Call of Duty esports. The format has changed. It is quite a significant change with both its pros and cons, but the biggest pro and the reason that they've done it is to bring it close to the public game, the game that people play out of the box. Reedy, what did you think when you first saw this? I know there's been rumors going on for a month and stuff, and we've just been waiting for it to get confirmed. I
mean, I'm excited for it. Like, when I started playing Call of Duty, I played 5v5. Back in COD 4, like I used to play hardcore 5v5 S&D only. I think S&D is better for 5v5 personally. All the hardcore players used to banter people if you played 4v4s and 3v3s. Like, the best teams played 5v5. I'm like very knowledgeable when it comes to 5v5 as well. Like S&D, I don't know how the respawn aspect of it's gonna work out. I mean, I feel like we're gonna have to introduce a new game mode. Then I don't feel like Hardpoint would work, but that's a story for another day. I just don't know with that, but I'm excited for the change. It's been a bit stale recently, so I just feel like the switch up. It's getting. I mean, this isn't really a good point to look at. All other major esports are 5v5 tier 1, and maybe you shouldn't follow, but people can call me an idiot for thinking this. I'm excited for the change. I want to see how it all pans out and plays out.
I think there's so much to it. Like the people have been arguing both ways about 5v5, but there is literally so much to adding one extra player on both sides. I know you talked about the respawns there, and I think that's a great topic. The biggest worry I think about the respawns, and it was actually an AW thing, because AW was the standout engagement game, right? Mm-hmm. Players were averaging over 80 engagements a game. Obviously, with an extra player in, that would be probably about an average of 100 engagements a game. Fortunately, we're back on the ground, so it's not quite as bad. Tunn, what do you think about respawns in 5v5?
I think it could be potentially a bit chaotic. I think Reedy was definitely right saying that we're not too sure how Hardpoint's going to work. I mean, there's a lot of rumours about... I mean, we've seen that some of the pros have been playing Control. That was one of the things I picked up on one of the game modes that they played when they first got their hands on it. Reedy, did you get your hands on Control?
No, I didn't play the beta. I played 2 maps at Champs after I got knocked out on the Wednesday. I played 2 maps at Champs. I didn't play it before Champs because I just wanted to focus on Champs and try to put a good performance in at Champs, but we went there and we all know what happened. But from seeing, I watched a lot of streams. From seeing it, it's different. It's just like Lord Vondy. He's the greatest man alive when it comes to Call of Duty. Introduced score streaks on Black Ops 2. We didn't want it. He said we're having it. Probably the best thing that's happened to COD.
Well, he also introduced the Codcaster mode, so I'm gonna say that's better.
So I trust. This is probably the only game developer that I trust. Like that's gonna lead us in the right direction. If he thinks 5v5 is the right way to go about it, I'm just gonna jump on the horse and just ride with him because he knows what he's doing at the end of the day, man. Like
I think it's a good point. He has that Black Ops has got a fantastic reputation for bringing in new things. Speaking of control, actually, I think there's a really great one here. CTF v5. That was where I was a little bit worried because with that many players on, it's gonna be a bit more difficult to get that flag out.
100% more difficult.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be playing CTF if it's 5v5. I mean, like, even on Black Ops 3, Jesus Christ, you remember Strongholds? You just sit back of the map and just chill. You had Swanee, like, sitting behind his little rock, little camping twat.
Or MarkyB, who famously didn't die an entire match of CTF.
Yeah, it's
Not sure.
yeah, I don't think we should play CTF. I mean, I love the game mode, but with 5v5, like, you're going to have a designated camper in your team. It's just boring, man. It ain't even be fun to watch.
But one thing I want to touch on, sorry, so it was Black Ops 2 that Hardpoint came into the game. So as you said, that you know, David Vonderhaar has brought in these new game modes. If I remember rightly, I think a couple of people were quite worried about a Hardpoint initially. I think it was one of those things where everyone was like, "Oh, King of the Hill game mode, will it work?" You know.
That was great.
Yeah, no, when we initially started, yeah, but there was a few people who questioned it, and there's a few people. I mean, I've seen it especially on Reddit. A lot of people saying control won't work, but for me, I think it's something to try out. You know, I think we've just got to actually give it a go before we start sort of making any decisions on whether or not it'll work. But I absolutely agree with you with CTF, though. I don't think it'll be any good. S&D, I think it'll benefit.
S&D is going to be 10 times better, man. I'm telling you right now. I don't like going back to like COD 4, MW2, Black Ops 1, but it just S&D 5v5 makes sense in my eyes. It's so much more structured. Like, you don't have these runabouts. I mean, I was speaking to an S&D player on Twitter, and he said it was just like 4-man or 5-man hitting people because he played a few tournaments on the Black Ops 4 beta, S&D, and I was like, but if you play structured, if those 4-man are running at you, you're gonna make kills.
Well, I think that's something people don't realize when they talk about 4-man hits on S&D and stuff, right? Like, if you do that, and you don't get the trades correctly, like if that player trades well, even if you're holding the bomb site, sometimes you're at a disadvantage. We saw that on maps this time round. Like, if you didn't have the numbers enough to hold some of the bomb sites in WW2, it was actually so difficult to hold them because of the pinch.
Yeah, I mean, he said the maps have been designed for it, so you would like to think they're set up so that they can be approached from different angles, and it's not just going to be a case of sitting 5-man inside of a bomb site or rushing 5-man towards a bomb site. They should be able to get caught out. It's going to be interesting, but I think a lot of people are worrying too much off what they've seen on the beta. But as you said, you know, in a structured team, are they going to let people get away with a 5-man push onto a bomb site where everyone's just rushing?
As long as S&D has bomb sites that aren't pushed up when you're on defense past the halfway line, I mean, I don't know this because I didn't play the beta, so there might be, but if it's behind the halfway line and you can set up across the map and have team shooting involved, the better team's always going to win. The team that positions themselves better are going to win in that scenario in 5v5. But like on previous games, it was like, oh, just headbutt something. But I don't get it how people are saying it was bad on the beta. Right? It makes no sense to me because if you're playing structured, you'll punish the other team that isn't, in my eyes anyway.
Yeah. But also, I think one of the things, like, it takes a little while for the meta to kind of change and start ticking over when the game comes out, right? Once you might have a power spot in the beta or when the game starts coming out, but once that's known, it becomes harder and harder to use as the game goes on, and the whole meta of S&D changes with these structures too. You're not actually playing like the game we playing the game till like 4 months in. Once players really kind of know, and then it becomes about what strategy are we using for this bomb site? What do we do next? So yeah, I kind of get that. It's a lot of people judge it very, very quickly. Like, how do you judge it? You don't even properly yet. Like, you don't know it off by heart. You can navigate it blindfolded. This is a good opportunity to move on, actually, because there's one massive positive that I tweeted out about for 5v5. 16 extra players will be supported by the league structure. Right? We talked last year about being outside of the league was a big thing. This year, 16 extra players will have that opportunity to be on a team, be salaried, have their chance at the prize pool in the league format.
I just think it's just the right direction, man. Yeah, no,
16 extra pros.
It just opens, like, 5v5 opens up so many different avenues for your COD Pro, right?
Yeah.
If you unfortunately fall out of the Pro League, then you can be on a team as a sub, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you don't want to do that, but then again, it still opens up coaching roles, analytic roles. Like,
Yeah.
It's just going to be bigger and better in my eyes. I can't see it like I don't.
Can't
You
wait to
can
be
do
a
this
coach.
Probably will end up being a coach when after this year.
You take Marky B's job.
That wouldn't be. Oh, come on, man.
I can drop people.
Actually,
Sorry, Marky.
the MarkyB cast, man, joins Splice, turn to shit, goes to the Halo event, they lose the Halo event. MB, 1 minute.
Right. Let's kind of move on a little bit then from the 5v5 because that was obviously the biggest announcement, right? That was the biggest thing to come out of it, and there is so much to talk about in 5v5 that I'm sure we're going to be talking about it for months to come and all the massive changes. The other big change, one of the biggest changes for me, whereas 5v5 is going to cause a roster mania, no region lock. Just goes, hey, I heard you like chaos. Well, here's some more.
For me, I don't think it's gonna actually. No. I don't think it'll be bridged across as much as some people think, and it ultimately comes down to practice. Unless you're moving your whole team, say if you're a European team, say if you're red.
I disagree.
I know, but they're gonna have to move over to America to pick up one American player or something like that. Then it just seems like a really big investment, and how much you're going to return from it, who can you even pick up? I think the problem of practice is still a prevalent one in that one.
Did they
Practice
announce,
is the biggest issue.
Did they announce how the LAN League was going to be? I know it's one stage, but did they announce how it was going to be?
It'll be in the blog post, which is long.
It is.
I was going to say, I think I know how it's going to be, but I don't want to say because if it's not announced, then I don't really want to say.
Yeah,
but if it is how I think it is, I feel like an American player or an Australian player should be fine.
Well, it's 12 weeks of play. It looks. So here's the thing, right? There's interdivisional play, which to me screams NFL. I feel like it's going to be like the NFL structure. That's how they're going to do this. And if you don't know what that is, because it's something that I didn't know how they did it, because I've only recently become interested in North American football, and American football, not soccer. Should point
American football.
Yeah. Anyway, so basically, there's two divisions, same as the CWL. And obviously the divisions all play each other, but it's drawn, so you play people from the other division, and that goes towards your kind of total for the end. And then the best teams from that get put in. There's wild cards that go in, and then they all play, and they meet up in the Super Bowl. That's how the Super Bowl works, right? There's two the playoffs that go towards the end. It's actually really simple when you see it, but you also get those. You can get those harder draws come across. You can have a really good team from the other division play you. Or you could have some other. I don't know how exactly they're going to structure it, and I'm sure somebody who knows the NFL more will be able to put that down. But that screams to me that's how they would do it if they're doing interdivisional play. They're going to have you play all your teams in your division, and then there'll be some you draw across from the other side, and it'll be different for every single team, and you just have to kind of play it out that way and see what your record is.
Yeah,
that's my mind anyway.
It could be.
I mean, I think it's interesting either way. However they do it, it's good that they are doing it because I think, as Clint said, you know, it's always like which side is better, who really knows, and then you only really found out at the events. Whereas now we'll sort of see the crossplay between them. Will be interesting to see. I'll let you move on if you wanted to. Sorry, Brice. I was about to take over the hosting role, but you.
See, there's questions coming in already, like Jerd, right? We know Jerd's still in Splice. And he's been hitting up North Americans already. Mm-hmm. You say people want to go over, but I know for a fact that players are already sorting visas and stuff.
I know. Jud's moving to Thailand.
I feel like that's bait, Reedy. I feel like that's bait. That's full on bait, isn't it, Reedy?
Look at the chat.
Oh, here we go. I'll find out. That's not. That is terrible evidence. That is the worst evidence I've ever seen. Anyway, we're talking about North American and this kind of this combination going on, and it's a great idea because what they said on the broadcast was accurate, right? There are European players who fit nicely into some North American rosters. Mm-hmm. And that kind of interdimensional, it's better, right? You don't want to separate it by region. It's the World Pro League. It's not this division thing. I think the biggest difference will be that we'll see some Australian players come over to America. Some of those Australian players, especially in a 5v5 format, 16 teams for the league, you're going to see some Australian players be picked up. The issue being is they'll probably gut the actual Australian scene, and you won't have any real good teams from out there.
But then who's going to go over? Shox has already signed back with Mindfreak. It's literally just Denza at this point.
All right, well, maybe Mindfreak move over, pick up some North American players. That's maybe what happens.
They actually can't because Shox has got to finish his uni degree, in he? I feel like Den stays. I feel like Den stays. I feel like Den stays with Mindfreak. He's good enough to be on the He's good enough to be on the top American team, but like
maybe it's not this year. Maybe it's next year.
Yeah, you never know what's happening next year, do you? So
that's true.
Just getting that out there.
I think players will keep that in mind now, though. That option's there. That option wasn't there before.
Straight up, I'd move to America in a heartbeat. Like, if a team offered me, like, without a doubt, it just helps your career in the grand scheme of things. Like, the competition over there is just better. Like, you just look at what Ghost done this year.
Yeah, you see, it's better for a solo player like yourself looking for a team. It's good for you. But when in terms of like, if there's 3 or 4 players from the UK looking for one, getting one American back over to Europe, it's that logistical problem when you've got just like an uneven split. Whereas if it's just one coming over here or one going over there, then it's different. But I don't think we'll see like 3 Americans, 2 Europeans on a team. I think it's going to be like 1 European on an American team or 1 American on a European team sort of thing.
Well, that makes more sense, right? Because you still have the issue of practice and where people are going and stuff, right? And we already know that 155 team has already confirmed they've got a player, and that's Red Reserve. Red Reserve have already said, "Yep, go on over, Bants," in the least surprising roster move of all time.
Yeah,
hold that L splice, by the way. Like, hold that. I don't, to this day, I don't know if they let someone like Bants go for free. Like, just release them just like that.
For free?
It makes no. Yeah, of course. He said he was a restricted free agent.
And then he went full free agent, right?
And then he went full free agent. They've released him. They've had to have released him. Like,
I think it was interesting they didn't keep that team together and then wait for the roster mania to kick in and try and rebuild around it.
That team was done, man. That team was fully done.
I think after the results, especially towards the tail end of the year, the whole year as well was just not good.
It's just Red are just laughing to the bank, getting Bants, like fully laughing to the bank. Like,
oh yeah, that's a hell of a
Matty,
pickup.
Bants, Joe and Scraps, like.
They won the Scraps.
And then you add Reece to it. It's just like, I mean, Reece isn't the best, but just add him to it. It's just.
Wait, you know he's gonna be mad. You know he's gonna be annoyed. You already know. You did that on purpose.
Yeah,
right, time to move on. We go for this one. Different structure this year. Top 32 Vegas Pro League. So auto qualify for your top 4. The top 32, so the remaining 28, will go and they will play off for a chance to get in that Pro League. Really, you've been through relegation. You've been through getting into a team. Admittedly, you got into a team a slightly different way through a player not showing up.
Hold on. IW, I qualified fair.
Oh yeah, fair enough. I was talking about this year.
Yeah, but still, I've gone through relegation. I've qualified fair. I've retained the spot.
I think this slightly different way to come through. My initial thought is it's much better than last year because it brings it kind of back to LAN.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. Like, I mean, this year leading up to it, I lost to a fucking Halo player, man, in the 2K. Like, and then I lost to under 18 French pricks. Like, my year was done by losing to a shitty Halo player, and then bloody Senka and his merrymen. He can't even go to America. Yet he's playing in 2K to ruin people's chances.
Yeah.
It just does my head in, man.
Yeah. So I think
it's so much better this way. Like, if you're good on LAN, and if you don't hit top 32 that first event, you don't deserve to qualify. Simple as that.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point because I was going to say, like, it is all or nothing in the first event, really, isn't it? I mean, make sure you get yourself over, but then at the same time, if you don't qualify, then you can go over, and we've obviously heard about the amateur scene. There's going to be a bit more. There's going to be prize pools and that sort of things.
I really don't.
I'm sure
against it.
Brice is going to move into it in a bit, but at least it's like a good opportunity for a lot of players to do what they need to do in the first event. And if it doesn't work out, then you've at least got something else to play for the rest of the year.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like you're talking about this amateur league now, and they're kind of splitting up. And some people are kind of not happy about being in the amateur league. It's like, but if there's a structure there for you to move up, like it works.
Well, I don't see, but no one's going to move up, Bryce. Like, I've had this discussion with other people. Like, so you're
I can
saying...
give you an example. I now have a player who went through the amateur system and moved up.
Go on.
Because you gave him the up. It's Scraps.
But that was literally because we had no one. Like,
Yeah, but next year, Reedy, you're going to have 5 players and a sub. Like,
Nah,
you're telling me that
but
there's not going to be some shifting in there?
Scraps was playing against good teams.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean that is true.
In
That is
this
true.
amateur league thing, like, it's just gonna be the same teams playing the same teams. Like, say I'm in a top American, I ain't fucking scrimming those amateur teams. What I'm gonna waste my time playing them for? But they ain't gonna get any airtime playing anyone good. Maybe one of them might be good friends with someone and get brought into a few ace lobbies. But other than that, like, it's just gonna kill it off in my eyes. It's just gonna be the same people from the past 3 years that will just be, all right, you didn't make the league, or say Goonjar doesn't make the league. Right, you don't make the league again. All right, just come be our sub, come be our thing, and someone starts fucking up, you can jump in from, or who else is another person that's always been at the top? Like Theory, like who's like great player, what he does, but who's really gonna, like, if he doesn't make the league, who's really gonna, like, want to play with him? You know what I mean? They're just gonna pick someone else, like exotic cunt over him or something like that. Like, when Theory's probably better than him. It just makes no sense.
I mean, someone's made a fair point in the chat. Do you think this is the sort of the basis for franchising? I think it could be.
I ain't saying anything.
Just theorizing.
You know,
I ain't saying anything.
purely from a theoretical standpoint, this is exactly how you would bleed into franchising.
Yeah.
Just, you know, you get rid of relegation. It's moving to a heavy league format. It's 5v5. I mean, it does a lot like the OWL format. It's not lie. I'm not gonna lie here.
The OWL format has the contenders, which is then brought down from. Actually, never mind. It's all franchising, so you never know if it does go franchising. It might end up like that, but
it's at least in parallel with it. It's very close. If it's not, at least alluding. Now there has been no. The only talk of franchising has actually been from third-party sources, or where they've talked about the OWL, and there's been talks around that region of who gets what team and so on and so forth, right? Nothing from Activision so far, but this does seem like at least it would be an easier transition for it. It was probably too soon to change this year. It wouldn't surprise me at all next year, not even a little bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't, but still, I like the idea of franchising personally. Opens up so many different jobs.
Ability, right?
Yeah.
Ability, jobs, funner to watch. Like, I never thought Overwatch would be doing what it's doing. I mean, not saying it's like I don't know if people put Overwatch as a tier 1 esport.
It's getting there. It's getting there, I think.
The production, everything, like everyone that's gone over there, from Pocket to Mr. X, they've always just said good things about it. Like, just it seems really good. So if it does go in that direction,
a lot more polished. It's one of those polished esports I've ever seen.
It was straight out the blocks as well, isn't it? It's not like it's had to go through that development period of, okay, we've had our little shitty events, then they're starting to get a little bit better. It's sort of just like through millions of dollars at it straight away, and it's already hit that top tier, and it's just going to constantly keep growing and growing because, I mean, not just because of that. Obviously, the game's pretty decent as well. But because of what they've invested into it, they're going to see a lot of that sort of come to fruition with their viewers and stuff. But I think the way that worked is the franchising, obviously the money gets invested back into the league that they pay for the spots, doesn't it? Like, it was all sort of invested in.
Yeah. I mean, that was one way to kind of monetize an esport straight away. It was a great idea, and it was why a lot of people are looking at it to see whether or not that kind of pays out. And I think they had a great first year. You know, there are some teething issues, and they're changing a few bits here and there, but it went fairly well. Let's move on now, because there was another bit about the league that I wanted to talk about, and it is maybe a minor change for people outside the league, slightly better inside the league. Base pay plus win bonus plus prize pool is essentially what you're paying for if you get in the league. If you get in the league, obviously you get salary from your orgs anyway. There is I believe there's a base prize if you just getting in the league gets you at least some amount of money, just the way the prize pool is split.
Yeah, this year was like $12,000 for each team that qualified for both stages, so $24,000 in the league both times.
Yeah, so getting in the league, you already get money, right? Obviously, you do well in the league, you get more money. The prize pool for the league is there, but you also now get this win bonus, meaning that it really pays off, literally, to go dumb hard against every team. Really, obviously.
No, don't you dare, man. Don't you dare, because we genuinely fucking tried. We genuinely tried.
I know you tried, but does it change anything in your mind about the way you would approach games?
No, because I still went stupid hard. The team was just shit last year. Like the game wasn't great. I'm not putting slander on the game.
I'll change it slightly. I will change it slightly. I will change this question slightly. How big of a difference do you think it makes for the players in the league for having a win bonus?
Yeah, no, it's obviously more incentive, but then again, like, it should be, if you're in a league, you're competing at the top, you're still putting the hours. I was turning up 2 hours before each game at the league. Turn up, get 3-0, go back home. Like, everyone was still putting that extra effort in. It's just like, I don't think.
I'm not saying you
money
didn't,
driven.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, like
this is it's a change at least, right?
it's a good change. The incentive's always there. Like, all right, maybe if it was someone else that was in my team's shoes that literally didn't give a flying fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, then maybe it might be more of a sentence to them. But my team, don't use my team as an example because we actually did give a shit. I've never seen 3 people like always upset after events. Like it was literally so heartbreaking because we wanted to win so much and like just be better than what we was. We had one decent event and it was at Anaheim, but oh god, it stresses me out.
I think I've set you off here.
Don't bring up the past.
Why I think the biggest changes for that is it makes every single match a little bit more important. Because there were some times where it's like middle of the table, people were like, oh, not really that interested. Well, there's money on the line every single game now. Every single best of 5. You can't, go and maybe ego or try to practice, your worst maps against people and some teams did that. Some teams did that last year. They thought they had an easier game. They didn't give as much attention to the vetoes as they thought they should. When it's literally coming out of your pocket now, if you don't win that game, you get less money. That's more important.
And then there's there's a scenario where you would see like towards the end of the season where lower teams are trying to get themselves out of relegation, that sort of thing. They're going up teams who are like guaranteed playoffs, and they're like obviously these teams aren't as bothered because they're already guaranteed. And then you would have
really angry.
Yeah, but like then all these results that happened because of like was it Envy? Well, there was a certain couple of teams that lost game.
EG, EG that didn't qualify.
Really was the one who did it.
And then Envy didn't qualify because we beat them. Like, but we didn't try in the league. I saw a Reddit post the other day, man. I swear.
Oh no, I see.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Reddit's a bad place.
While this is taking away from the topic, I think this is a great topic to cover very quickly, right? Because I've seen the same thing, really, and I think it's hilarious. Because people don't realise that being in that pro league, you're still better than 99% of the teams out there. People don't realise that there are tiers. You can be the worst in the pro league, but you're still in the pro league. You're still probably better than 99% of the teams out there. There may be a few in the top 24 that can take you on, and we see that at events. But it's not like there's this, you'd be top 64 if you were in the league. That's just not how it works. When you're playing against the elite level teams and the best teams in the world, you are probably going to be, you are going to lose games. Somebody has to lose.
Yeah, what set me off one time was when someone was saying E6 was better than us, and we literally smoked them at Anaheim, and then I saw it in the league after we went 1-12 or whatever we did. I was like, E6 should be in the league. I was like, we literally just smoked them. Like, are you good?
Yeah, and that makes sense, right?
That's true.
Like,
there's
different tiers of teams. I've always said it.
Yeah, something I just want to touch on, just from something I've just seen on Reddit, was the decision to use the top 16 teams from Pro League instead of Champs.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Now,
Tell me what you really think.
Now, Adam Abasella made a fair point, saying that Pro League is, in our opinion, the centerpiece of the program with 17 weeks of competition, showing the sample size. But then some people would argue it's the biggest tournament of the year. Why wouldn't you base it off Champs, the latest tournament as well? I think it's two sides to that argument.
Pro League is obviously where you see the most, like, the highest competition over a space of time, without a doubt. But Champs is where the pressure's on.
Yeah.
Like, that first event in somewhat next year is going to be, I'm not going to class it like Champs, but it will be up there because if you get top 4 at that event, you're in the Pro League.
Yeah.
Like,
here's the other thing about that, and now this is a great opportunity to move on. Having a quick look through on the blog post, you need from last year to get your next pool thing 2 players. 2 players have to stick.
I thought it was 3. What did they change that?
Is it 3?
3 from last year.
Yeah, 3 from last year.
So that's why
that's why I saw Zinni Methods tweet out saying something about it. Because
Yeah.
apparently he's like might be leaving Optic, and we all know about that. It's probably the worst kept secret in esports.
Yeah.
Shout
But
out to
that's-
Podburner, by the way. Whoever you are, honestly, banging business idea. All like Matty and that was speaking about the other night. Get a green screen, get a bloody suit, like mask up, get a voice changer, and start leaking shit live on Twitch. Blowing.
If the COD burner is listening, you can come do it on this show. We will get you in and we will discuss it.
Perhaps said that the other day, man. I was like, hold on a minute, I might do this myself and just start guessing.
Yeah.
Oh, blow.
It'd be hilarious.
Oh man.
But sorry, I was gonna like a lot of people are saying that they did that chance to save Optic, which is what a lot of people would presume. But
Well, it's worse. It's actually worse because they drop into the prize pool. The prize pool, I suppose we got. Like, the pro points pool. Like, you then have to play on pro points to get back in. So, I mean, admittedly, they probably have a decent amount of pro points, so it's not going to be too much of a trouble for them. But it does look like they won't have that automatic then, because the rumor is like, they don't have 3 anymore.
I mean, you look at
So would that then drop down? Like, say Optic don't keep Cine, yeah, and they go in their announced roster.
Yeah.
Would that then drop down? Give someone that was below him, because say for example, me, Steve, and Billy stay together. We was in the pro league, you know what I'm saying? Us three are still in there. Like, would then drop down to like the 13th place?
What was it? No, was it not top 12?
It was like it's top 12. Yeah, it was top 12. But so say Optic was in the top 12, but they don't keep the third player, so they move into the pool play.
Next one down.
Yeah, next one down. So 13th. Who's the 13th team?
Oh no, would they not just make it a 7th spot for the pro points? That would make more sense.
Nah. Because then there's a little tournament, isn't it?
Yeah, but then how do you judge who was 13th when there was all sort of like after the top 12? It was I suppose you could go back to.
Well, so my calculations, Splice are fucked because they're not a team anymore. Who else was in the pro league after them?
I tell you what, the one that it impacts is 100 Thieves, because their roster now is Octane, Pharaoh, Kenny. So they probably need to pick up somebody from that previous TK roster to have a spot. Because they can't pick up 2 players from.
I don't know. I mean, Kenny's got to have a crap ton of pro points.
Yeah, but like it's just going off the top 12 thing, bro. It's like.
If they wanted to go straight in, then.
But someone actually brought this up in the chat, right? They're saying there's a lot of teams that don't have the same 3 anymore.
Yeah.
So by points, that 100 Thieves roster is probably all right.
Who's it? Yeah, you would
There's a lot of math going on right now, and again, that leads into roster mania, right? You're looking at that going, pool players, and you know it is. It is an advantage being in pool play to get forward, and you want to get as far as possible because you want to be in that winner's bracket. You don't want to go through open. You got to figure it out.
Yeah, so they'll probably be. Yeah, Marky's saying 100 Thieves will be alright in pro points. Yeah, you would think so. So the majority of the teams can probably.
Yeah, but they'll be alright in pro points, but they still have to go through that little tournament, no? The relegation tournament.
Yeah.
To get into pool play.
To get into pool play. And then, so I presume if they don't get to pool play, they just slot into like a high slot on the open bracket, I would presume.
Yeah, I don't know how it's being run.
Yeah, it'll be something
I think.
Alright, so why is Mark typing in the chat when he could be on here discussing this with us? The stupid. I'm not going to say this.
He's got 5 players to find. He's got his list. He's checking it twice. He's finding out who's not
the
nice.
next spot outside it goes. Yeah, so there is a chance, Mark, if me, Steve, and Billy stick together. All these teams, we could be in the pool play. Like, slim chance, but very small. Like, we would be nasty. Steve was a goat.
I wonder where Steve was going, because I remember speaking to him, and he was saying he wanted to get some young players together and try it out, but I
tell you what, Marky says he can come in. I'm okay with Marky. I know I'll mess up your thing, but I'm okay with him coming in.
Yeah, okay.
Right. We can explain how this works.
Hold on, I'll tell you what, Mark. Just join the call, don't join with Cam.
Yeah, don't join with Cam, that shouldn't mess things up.
No, it won't mess things up, it shouldn't.
If you're watching Marky.
I hope.
Trust MarkyB to know the internet.
Yeah.
Brice is Hitman.
Yeah, Paradox has got it right, though. That's what I was saying.
Oh, it's messed
everything up.
Yeah.
Hey, MarkyB anyway, though. Hello, Marky.
What's up, guys?
Fix it, Tunn.
Fixing it
You
now.
hear me?
So
Marky, if I've got this right, and what you're about to explain is, any top 12 team that doesn't retain the majority of its roster will be for teams with pro points in pro play.
I'm having to fix it. He's messed it up.
No, basically, right, because 100 Thieves have the most pro points, right? So
Yeah.
if they don't retain their like 3 players, that means the highest team in pro points has to come into the top 12 anyway. So
Yeah.
like they're guaranteed regardless. Like they don't have to
They
about.
have a load of pro points, right? Like a ton.
Well, yeah, because they won 3 events, which is obviously where you get the most pro points.
Yeah.
And
And it's a significant bump as well. Like it's not
yeah,
a small amount.
yeah,
So
you got massive amount.
that kind of makes sense. Marky, while we've got you here, and I do appreciate you coming on, even if it's stressing Tunn out. How are you finding, like, because obviously now you do a lot with the Splice COD team, right? And you're still in that position?
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you finding it now? You've got five players, not
4. Obviously, it's a bit different. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of teams are changing. A lot of things are going on behind the scenes, so it's very interesting. But I can't really say much more.
No,
but,
that's why I don't think I'm going to leak your roster and stuff.
Well, yeah, no, it's interesting.
But then again, Marky, you know, you've played COD for like as long as I can remember. I remember first encounter in MW2, I want to say, or 3. How do you feel about the 5v5?
I mean, I don't know if it's really one of those things. We don't really know how it's going to play out. Like, it's a gamble. Really. It could be good, could be terrible. We have to wait and see. I'm just hoping for the best, really.
You're just going to sitting back. Not gonna join your rosters then, Marky. Are you coming back next year?
No, I'm not coming back next year. No.
You're good. You're good in the coach role.
Yep.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. I
Pays
was
the
wondering whether
bills.
or not this was...
What are you saying, Tony?
Plays the
It just
bills,
makes me-
pal.
it just
Plays
adds
the
power.
bill. Plays the bills. That's what you have to think about, though.
What do we think about while we're doing this? What do we think about the change to the CWL finals? No 2 stages, just 1 stage, and there will be a big tournament to kick it all off at the end.
I like it.
fuck with
It's
that.
reminding me of the Super Bowl, dude. I'm telling you, this is all looking like the NFL.
I fuck with it, man. I hated last year. Going there for 2 weeks, going home for 2 weeks, going back there for 2 weeks. Oh my god.
I like it because I think that Pro League towards the end of stage 2 got a little bit stagnant. I think it was just like watching the same games over and over again. It started to get a little bit dull. So I don't mind the fact that it's just going to be one this time. So it's just one big thing rather than game after game after game after game after game after game, and it got a little bit repetitive and a little bit dull towards the end for me.
Yeah, I also like the idea of the introduction of giving teams money for winning certain games. Now, obviously, you've already covered this stuff, but like I think that's obviously massive for teams like Epsilon.
Mark, good games relegation, bro. Take you into retirement, bro.
Alright, let's move on to something that doesn't cover that much because this is sore subject. Let's talk about the AM circuit. Completely revamped AM circuit this year. Own separate circuit. It looks like they're trying to get more of a division between pros and amateurs.
Yeah.
I'm not against that. I think it's a good idea. I'm really sick of seeing pro teams smash AM 3-0.
Yes. I mean, that's
watching the worst games in the world.
That's
Yeah.
probably
Like,
the biggest reason why they've done it is because Saturdays sucked. They were rubbish as far as the broadcast concerned because it was just teams just getting railed every
Yeah.
single, and it was rubbish to watch. Nobody.
Except for when the AM team got put into Epsilon's pool.
I think there was pros and cons. There was pros and cons to it. Like there was amateur teams. Obviously, I'd say out of maybe 5% of all the games from amateur teams come into pool play, the amateur teams would get a result. But there was cases where amateur teams did get results against pro teams, which obviously wouldn't be happening, which does suck. But if there's a lot of money in this amateur circuit, then I think there's pros and cons to it. Being a obviously competitor, you'd rather sit there and play against, be able to have a chance of playing against the best teams. But if there's also a chance to earn money while being an amateur player, which is something that a lot of people have concerns about, then that's a benefit as well.
Marky, I don't know because we've already covered it. I don't know how much you can say right now, and I completely accept if we kind of have to move on. Like the region lock coming off, has that changed Splice's plans, or has that just kind of thrown a big spanner in your entire workup?
I mean, obviously, obviously, we could. No, obviously, like we could.
Oh no!
Like, it gives us more options of people we can look at and players and stuff like that. So
You
There
already
it is.
knew
It's
that, didn't
confirmed. It's confirmed. There it is. Mark's just confirmed it on stream. I'm telling Marty.
Wait, what?
I mean, you already knew about
Jesus.
everyone seemed to know about the international lot coming off because Brice leaked it.
Yeah, Reece plays week man. Shout out to Reece.
So everyone seemed to know. So I think it isn't going to necessarily come as a surprise to everybody that everyone's going to be, oh my god, we can look for American players now.
I mean, yeah, Marky tweeted out like 3 weeks ago or something like that. He was like, "Oh, we're open to players from all regions." So like, this is, I think, like,
yeah, very badly kept secret, like 5v5.
Yeah, just one of those things. I think 5v5 was. It was actually kind of annoying they've kept it. I don't know why they had to make a big deal of it. I don't know, to be honest.
No, it was only made.
Well, in fact, it is kind of a big deal. Like,
Yeah, I
it is
know.
a massive deal.
Yeah, I know, but I would
I
rather
just
than
hate
just...
people that were saying, "Oh, it's gonna be 4v4." It's all a fucking deploy. Like, do you know how stupid that looks?
Yeah, no, it was just
Yeah, how-
obvious it was 5v5. I feel like that's why they should have just made it announcement say it was 5v5, or at least told the pro teams or whatever. I don't know.
I like how they done it. It was annoying waiting, but I just hate the people that say, "No, it's gonna stay 4v4." Like, man, get with the times, man. Like, do you know how bad that looks? If it was gonna stay 4v4, they would have announced it ages ago. Like, for new organizations wanting to come into Call of Duty, could you imagine, like, for this next season, they will say for example, I had 4 people, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we want to join your organization." They're very interested. I was like, "Sweet." I was like, "But there's one thing, it might be going 5v5." We wait to the 19th, and it's like, "Oh no, it's 4v4." It just makes it look unprofessional.
I think,
people that have done that, man.
but you got to remember the first event isn't until December.
Yeah, but still,
I think it was a big choice for them, and I think they will be kind of whether or not they should do it. I guess they were still locking things down before they announced it, which is why they didn't announce it all at once. But yeah, I can see what they do. You got to remember, like, there's massive cogs that have got to be moved for things to happen, and I'm sure they didn't take it lightly at any point. One thing that we'll cover here, because this is the last one that we haven't covered so far, the event schedule for next year.
Yeah,
So 12 weeks of Pro League.
give me a
There'll be
bloody fucking Gfinity event, please.
There'll be 6
All I
spectator events, and that's an interesting way they've said that. 6 spectator events, including CWL Finals and CWL Championship. So there are 4 events outside of it, one of which is Vegas, which means there are 3 events we don't know about. That's less events than last year, I think.
Yeah, that is.
But also, they say spectator events, which kind of leads me to believe that we may see some
Blackout!
invitations or something.
We're gonna see blackout events. That's what we're gonna see.
That's true. Blackout
fair
events
point.
would be good.
that's a fair
And
point.
that's why the 5 or how many events we've got, I don't care about because I got blackout all year. Hold tight, Lord Fondy.
Mate, it's just like I've
Yeah,
really I've never been one for playing pubs, like full stop. But it just changes the game completely, doesn't it? Like when it went
We
off
just
the
got-
other day.
You know what? Yeah, I don't even need to do the next game, but they just give it a Treyarch every year, man.
I think I'd stress them right out if we had that part of every year, mate. If I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
You got a 3-year cycle. It's now a 1-year cycle, and you have to make it every single
Do you
year.
think pro teams will play blackout? Like, if there's blackout tournaments, do you think pro teams will be in on it?
I'll be straight on it. Even if it's on PC, I'll play it. I love
think we'll
it.
see a lot
I
of
generally
pictures,
think
yeah.
it's my. I generally believe like what I sort of saw it on PC and it looks amazing. Even on console, like with a pro, I was playing it without a pro and my god, it was awful. But when I got a pro, Blackout is by far the best BR I've played in a long time since like Arma 2, when BRs literally came about, and that's when I last enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Fortnite is gash.
Just to quickly address one of the questions in the chat, a lot of people asking if you think there'll be an EU event. I would be shocked if
There'll be
there isn't.
one.
There will be one, sure.
Yeah,
And it will be
after-
Birmingham again.
No man.
Wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me.
No, give it to Gfinity, man.
No,
think
give
it-
it
no,
to
no.
EGL.
Hear me out. Hear me out.
Oh
Hear me out.
shit! Sorry, I forgot we're on EGL. Yeah, EGL would be great.
I'm sitting here like, God's sake.
Hear me out, lads. Hear me out.
I'm
Hear me
big.
out.
Listen, I'm a big Gfinity fan. I love the EGL events as well, but I've always been a big.
You only
Gfinity.
want a G-Finity because it's around the corner.
Oh yeah.
Lad, hear me out on this one, right? CWL Glasgow.
Anyway, so
Moving on.
How are
To
the
Yeah.
Americans going to cope with Glasgow, man? Like,
What
they
do you
can't
mean?
Understand.
Glasgow's a
What do
lovely
you mean?
place, man.
I actually, I will actually
Lovely place,
vouch.
but, like, you have got thick accents.
Yeah, you could have a
What are you going to
Newcastle.
vouch
That'll
for,
be a
Chris? I want to
laugh.
hear. I want to hear this vouch.
I was
Chris.
going to vouch for Glasgow as being a nice place.
Yeah, and Newcastle's lovely as well, mate. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, let's just say, well, let's have some more events up
How
north.
are you going to come in here and just lie?
No one wants to go down south, man. It's boring down there, man. Get us up north.
hold on a minute. You just had a
I mean,
fucking-
£1
you
drinks
just
and
had a
that.
whole weekend in
£1
London
drinks.
talking
Everyone
about-
wants £1 drinks.
Well, that's exactly why we should go there for the cheap drinks. That's exactly why.
You tell them
Yeah,
that you want to bring
venues as
them a
well.
job.
I'd actually love to see
Right.
another event in Seattle. I thoroughly enjoyed that Seattle event. Actually, I thought Seattle was a good hosting city.
Hated Seattle.
Did you? I loved Seattle. I thought it was great, but I think one of them events is guaranteed to be Anaheim. I would say.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah,
ship
surprised me.
attacks.
So basically, the way I've worked it out is Vegas, Anaheim, Birmingham, and then there's one we don't know, which could be Columbus again. It wouldn't surprise me if it's Columbus.
I am actually really hoping that they sort of have made a mistake and it is 6 events plus the 2. I know it's just the word and everyone.
Everyone I've seen is including.
Mm-hmm.
But spectator events means there could be other ones. So there could be A-Land 2, that's coming, that'll be Blackout.
A-Land 2, yeah.
Brilliant. I'll make my second LAN and be Blackout, get everyone in, just got my eggs and I'm good.
Will be good.
I think there'll be
that again.
in. I think the outside the CWL there will be Blackout stuff to play in. And I think it'll be interesting to see the schedule of those events compared to the CWL. Because I think Blackout went so well that everybody and their dog is going to be trying to throw an event for it.
It wouldn't surprise me if they do them alongside the actual events as well, though. Like if they've got like a little, well, it's not going to be little because it's 100 players, but you know, like a little tournament going on during the actual CWL events. It wouldn't surprise me if they throw something on like that as well.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
get
that makes
loads of influencers, man. Get all the boys in, like what they're doing.
Mhm.
Every event, just pull it. Oh my god. Ah, it's gonna be a good year, man. In Vondi we trust. In Vondi we trust. Now we just need to get Maven out of a job and then we're good.
I think Maven's now part of the framework, mate. I don't think Maven's going anywhere.
Maven
He's
is
a lovable guy. He's lovable. He's a friendly CWL face.
He's bald.
he's
I'm aware he's got no hair, mate. It doesn't make him a less lovable person.
I don't like him. He's not nice.
Right. Personal feelings aside, I think that pretty much sums up everything for this year. I probably don't want to talk too much about Blackout because I want to talk about next week as well as the roster changes. So, anyone else got anything else to add before we roll this up?
We got questions in the chat if you want to go through some of them.
There are a few questions in the chat actually. We can quickly cover these. People asking what's going on with Judd. Can't talk about that. EU
can.
event, we've covered that. We'll move on quickly. What post going to be scrimming without the game modes and maps released? That's
They'll be
a good
released
point. I
before-
imagine.
They'll be released.
Yeah, they'll be released
before
before the game comes
yeah.
out. Yeah. Do you think there should be more EU events? I think we're all European, so we're obviously going to say yes. Like that's an obvious one. I do miss there being at least 3 European events a year. The only way for it to realistically happen in the current structure is for that amateur circuit events. I think maybe
They
like
said
25Ks. That's about it.
They said they were restructuring on the national circuit side of things,
Yeah.
so that's me out of a job on a
Oh,
Friday
wait,
night.
that's still in it. Oh, I didn't like that. That was boring.
Well, the national circuit stuff.
Yeah, it was so boring to play in.
I didn't mind it because I was sitting here on a Friday night just casting all night, which was fun. But at the same time, I think that could definitely. It wouldn't surprise me if they maybe throw on little events here and there. I would like to see that.
We should, if for the UK one.
Yeah.
Right, sorry, Tunn. Actually, I'm not going to say it on here. I got to stop.
No, yeah, bloody not. Right. The other questions. Let's see. Would pros struggle to adapt from slowness of World War II to the quickness of 5v5 best out of 4? They have to adapt every single year to a new game anyway, and it's just another adaptation for me.
Yeah, I mean it depends, right? Like there's a lot of things going on next year. And I'm sure they're going to keep kind of qualifying how it all comes out. Here's the thing, like amateurs don't like to think themselves as amateurs, right? So they're always going to be like, oh, you know, I don't know about this Am League stuff. Well, you know, it's a way for you maybe to get noticed. I'm not saying that everybody's going to make it, you know, even if one player comes through that system and kind of gets noticed. The biggest question I noticed in the chat, and I think we've already kind of covered this, but I think it's really worth covering, how much Vegas means for the
It's
year.
massive. Like, you need to go.
Everything.
Book your flights now. Book your flight right now if you want to go to that event. Because if you... bruh. I'm thinking of booking. As soon as I get a bit of, like... Actually, I can't say it again, but yeah. So, it's getting booked soon as someone, you know, does something.
What?
I don't know. It's like it's booked someone does something. Because it also means like it's basically a route to champs as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and also like if you don't qualify for the league that at that event, right? Obviously, there are like going to be players that are going to be coming in, but you're going to have no like. You can't create a team and then qualify again with that team. There's no like. It's going to be you trying to impress under a different team. There's not going to be any like wave. So that event is just.
Yeah. Well, it's everything, right? Because there's only one stage. There's no 2 stages, no relegation. There's nothing. It's one stage, 12 weeks, and a big part of the year. And you know, Paul playing everything going forward. It is get in the league, and you need to get in it at Vegas.
And you're going to think
if you don't get it automatically at Vegas, then you got to go through the next, the last chance to qualify, or what I don't know what they're calling it, the qualifier. I'm sure it has an official name. Everything has an official name.
And you're going to think with it being one stage that, like, it's also going to set people up for like the teams that qualify for like sort of what's for next year as well and stuff like that. Like, because like those top teams are going to remain top teams. Do you know what I mean? Because they're going to be in the, like the top 16. They're going to be teams are going to be get picked up from just being in the pro league the previous year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
100%. You would think they're going to do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's very interesting just how much Vegas really means to people. Like it's pretty much everything.
Best event I've been
For the
to
entire
in
year.
America, by the way.
Oh,
I
it's
don't know
Vegas.
if you guys are at Vegas on IW. Unbelievable.
I haven't been to one yet, but I'm hoping.
Oh
I'm
my
soon.
God,
I've
that's
only
one
ever
of
been to
the
It
Vegas
was good
on the
crack,
stag do.
man. It was very good crack.
And all I know is I spent a lot of money.
You made a lot of money. What you told me.
I didn't also make a lot of money. I still spent a lot though, Tunn. I didn't cover it. I made a massive bet at the end of the weekend, but I didn't cover everything back.
You should use some of that internet to get that money to get better bloody internet. Your camera hasn't moved for about 5 minutes.
That's just me posing very, very. I'm trying to do a Drax thing where hopefully I go invisible. But yeah, basically I've got engineers coming in to fix my internet, so it'll be alright next time. It'll be fine.
Good.
It'll be fine. All right, I think that means that's everything. Thank you, Reedy, for coming on. Thank you for Marky for joining us halfway through. Hopefully next time you'll be here all the time. I know you're a very busy man.
Yeah.
Thanks for kind of watching and coming into this one. We'll be trying to change the format if we think we can find something better that works, and new segments and all kinds of stuff. Thank you for Tunn, because Tunn helped put all this together.
Tunn did everything.
Even though Tunn's a terrible person, but he's here and he's about.
He did
If you like something, make sure you let us know. Again, big shout out to Reedy. We'll find out where he goes next year, and MarkyB, who's now got a composer roster of 5 guns to try and compete next year. I'm sure you're both going to be very, very busy. Have you two got any final shout outs?
Yeah, Marky's
Marky?
going to shock the world.
Marky's going to shock the world.
Yep.
Yeah. Shout out to me. I'm going to shock the world.
Marky's going to shock the world. Reedy, anything else?
No, I ain't got no shout outs to anyone. I would shout out my org, but I ain't in one.
Oh.
Hey, Tunn.
No, we'll leave it there, guys. Just make sure you follow the channel. We'll be back every single
Oh,
Wednesday.
shout out to Tunny and
we go.
EGL.
Yeah, thank you,
Even though
John.
it's not one G-Finity event.
Thank you, John. But guys, yeah, make sure you follow the channel. We'll be back every single Wednesday. Me and Brice will remain every single time, but we'll get everybody in as that we can. Yeah. Questions still all through the Twitch chat when you're here as well. But we'll, I said, Brice said that we'll be doing different topics and stuff like that. But I said we'll be back next Wednesday.
The fucking kebab's going cold, hurry up.
Didn't hear a word of that.
No, I don't know what I said about that. That was the worst thing ever. He's going to type in the chat. All right, I'm going to say goodbye before he says something horrific. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.